Fall camp is done. Football is officially back in Texoma. Tonight we'll take a look at our teams north of the Red River as 0 Week kicks off the Oklahoma high school football season tomorrow night. From the Hugo Buffaloes in Choctaw County to the Ringling Blue Devils, and from the Kingston Redskins to the Ada Cougars, the First and 10 Oklahoma high school football preview show begins now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ada practice field, home of the Ada Cougars. Over the next 30 minutes on this First and 10 high school football preview show, we'll take you all around the Sooner State, looking at the storylines we're following in the 2018 season. But we'll start right here with the Ada Cougars. The Cougars back at it after a trip to the 4A state championship game last season in the first year under head coach Chris Barris. Now they move to 5A, and we'll tackle all the challenges that come with that transition. Our own Brendan Eggins is standing by with the head coach of the Ada Cougars right now.
Thanks, Dan. I'm joined now by Chris Barris, head coach of the Ada Cougars. Last year going to a state championship game in your first year. Coach, thanks for taking the time for us first off.
Hey, thanks for coming by.
And so for you, as you come into your second year, obviously last year a lot of throwing stuff in quick and getting to know the players, them getting to know you. How different is it coming into this year having that established with last year's success?
Expectations are set. You know, our non-negotiables are our non-negotiables, and so our kids understand that. And it's been a good start so far.
And for you guys, as you're going into practice every single year, every football team, this first couple weeks is a feeling out process because every team is completely different from one year to the next. What are some things you're looking forward to about this year's squad?
Well, what's been fun about this bunch is they enjoy the time together. You know, they're working extremely hard. They're loving the process that we've put down for them, and they don't mind getting after each other a little bit, but then after the practice is over with, they're having a good time in the locker room, so they're having a lot of fun this year.
And one of those things you're trying to establish this first couple weeks, aside from just getting ready for the season, is lost a senior quarterback last year coming in. That's a process right now. How is that process going, and how are you working out as we get ready for week one?
Sure, we've got 3 young men that are competing for that spot. You know, 2 seniors, Walt LeBeau and Tanner Gillum, who were starting defensive players for us last year, also sprinkled in a little bit of offensive play, and then Zach Carroll, sophomore, probably a little bit more natural at the spot, but 3 great competitors. All 3 of them bring great things to the table, and we're just going to see how this thing plays out over the next couple of weeks.
And that'll be something to watch for everybody there. We're going to be watching the Ada Cougars all season long as they try to, hopefully as they move up in class, go to their second straight state title game if all things go. Thanks for taking the time for us, Coach.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it. Great to see you, and we'll send it back to you, Dan.
The Ada Cougars not the only ones with championship aspirations this season. In fact, their week 1 opponent is on many lists to take home the 5A state championship trophy, and that would be the Ardmore Tigers. It's always championship or bust for Ardmore, but this year there's even more hype surrounding the squad. With returning players all over the field, including senior quarterback T-Row Roberts, head coach Josh Newby has high expectations for this bunch.
I think you've got to depend on our offensive line. You know, they've got a lot of experience. They're big kids, and they care about what they're doing. And you know, T-Row's, you know, he's got to take a bigger leadership role, and I think he has. And you know, I like the chemistry in the locker room.
The Sulphur Bulldogs ran through the regular season in 2017 and had momentum as they entered the playoffs with the goal of bringing back that gold ball for the first time since 2014. They were tripped up, though, and started the offseason earlier than they would have hoped, but they have not forgotten that as they head into 2018.
As far as strengths go, we got some skilled players back, and which makes a lot of difference. I mean, some guys that can throw the ball, catch the ball, and run the ball. Where we're having to rebuild in the line, we lost just about all our offensive line. We got about half our defensive linemen back, so up front's where we had to rebuild.
The Plainview Indians are always in the hunt for a gold ball. 2018 will be no exception. After finishing 9-2 overall and a clean 6-0 at home last season, Plainview returns a strong group of talent, and Coach Price really likes the squad he has this season. Thinks they are big things ahead for the View.
I think we've got a lot of returners that have really matured over this last
last few months since Christmas time, and with a lot of guys coming back, they were sophomores last year and juniors, a lot of them, and they've got a year of experience under their belt, so I think they're all going to be ready to go.
Wynnewood has been a powerful football program through the years, and that should roll on right through 2018. They return key players on both the offensive and defensive line, and with that as their building block, they believe they can make some serious noise in Class A this season.
Week 1 is coming up quicker than we think. We got a week 0 game this week versus Minko, and we're excited. We've had a good scrimmage last week versus Holdenville and Davis, and we're ready to get going. With all those returners, they can handle everything up front, and they're able to make calls and make adjustments easily on the fly, which makes it easy for us as coaches.
We're just getting started on the First and 10 High School Football Preview Show. Still to come, we'll recap who is changing classes and who might benefit the most from the change. And speaking of that, a lot of new head coaches in the region. We'll go through the list later in the show. Play number 5 takes us to Dixon versus Kingston. Then junior Brandon Sullivan going to make the most of this carry. That's a house call. We expect big things from Sullivan in his senior year, starting with our play number 5 of 2017. Welcome back. Well, we mentioned the Ada Cougars moving from 4A to 5A, but they certainly aren't the only ones changing classes this season.
Yeah, normally we see a lot of teams change districts. This is one of those odd years. We have a lot of teams making that bigger jump and changing classes, so let's take a look at some of those teams. The Medill Wildcats taking the practice field under new head coach Todd Vargas. He takes over the program after a successful run in Altus, Oklahoma. This is a big one for him as Vargas has roots that guided him to the Wildcat country. Medill does move up to 4A next season, and the Cats believe it will only make them a better team.
Luckily, I'm surrounded by a lot of great people. I've got great assistant coaches. We've got a great administration that we all have the same goal and the same vision. And so there's a lot of time being spent with these kids and for this program, and we're just having a great time.
The Allen Mustangs are moving up from Class B to Class A. Mustangs are back after an 8-3 record, but an overtime loss in the first round of the playoffs has this team ready to take on this challenge. They're in a district with Wynnewood, Kanawa, and Wewoka, among others.
The Foxes of Where Else Fox High School are eager as always to get back on the field on Friday nights. They bring back a strong group from a playoff team in 2017 and now make the move back down to Class C, and they are starting to come together as a group.
The strength that I would put at the top of the list is the cohesion among the players. They're supporting each other, they're pushing each other, and that's something that's one of those it's hard to put a value on because it's played such an important part in what we're doing.
The Dixon Comets are one of those teams in the process of building themselves into a consistent program. And while 2 wins in 2017 doesn't seem like much, it was a step in the right direction for Dixon. This year they will drop down a class and come back with 15 seniors, which is a massive upgrade.
It's a good feeling when the football season rolls around. Finally, officially, the season rolled around. We had a good summer. We probably had one of the best springs I've ever been around in football and all my years coaching. It was tremendous spring.
Well, in order for those Dixon Comets to make the playoffs, they'll have to power through a tough district, that being District 8 and 2A, with 6 of the 8 teams being from our region.
Man, that is a murderer's row. We have these districts every year, one of them that stands out, jumps out us, not because only we have a bunch of teams in there, but it's very competitive, and this happens to be that one this year.
The Colgate Wildcats are getting ready to make some noise in 2018. They stormed out of the gates last season early on, but hit a couple of speed bumps late, something they hope to learn from this season, led by their many senior leaders, including starting quarterback Austin Lambert.
I've been playing our graduating class. I've been playing with most of them ever since I started playing football, so everything's pretty like the old days.
In the past 4 years, we finished anywhere from 2nd to 4th, and I think Davis has finished 1st every one of those years.
Marietta Indians have high hopes for 2018, and they'll be taking the field with a new head coach. Sam Powers has taken over at Marietta, and he plans on installing a high-octane offense that will be a fun team to watch and hopefully translate into many Indians wins.
It's going well. We have a lot of energy, a lot of good kids out, pretty good numbers for what they have been in the past. trying to build on some success, so that gives energy with the kids. We're just motivated to work. Got a tough district, and so we're just ready to get to work and give ourselves the best challenge every week.
So a lot of challenges for the teams in that district and for those teams moving classes this season.
For sure, it's always really tough to change classes. Different teams you're playing, a whole different environment after these teams get settled in playing different. So it'll be very interesting to see how those matchups go this year.
Coming up next, we've already met 2 of the new head coaches in Texoma, but they aren't the only ones. We'll introduce 7 more coming up after the break.
Features Ardmore quarterback Creed Cox throwing this one up for grabs, and how about that catch by Shrodrick McGee? Look, Ma, one hand. Highlight reel play for the Tigers. Stick around, we've got the top 3 plays of 2017 coming at you later in the show.
Back with you here on the First and 10 Oklahoma High School football preview show. Now, Brendan, we typically talk about coaching changes, but this year it feels like there's been a seismic shift among the coaches in our region in Oklahoma.
You're exactly right. Almost half of our Texoma, Oklahoma football teams have new head coaches coming into this season. And with a new head coach comes new energy, new offense, a new environment. So here's some of those teams that are going to have all 3 of those things this season.
Tishomingo has a new coach with a familiar face to Texomans. John Solinger takes over at Tisch after spending 2017 with Atoka. He's embarking on a rebuilding process, but believes these guys can return Tisch to former prominence.
I don't know what the expectations are in the community or in the school district, but I know my expectations are that our kids go out and we try to win the first football game, and we build on that success right there. We're going to work as hard as we can, and we're going to try to establish a winning tradition around here.
The Davis Wolves have long been a state title contender under Jody Weber, and that shouldn't change in 2018 under the leadership of their new head coach, Greg Parker, who's been around the program for years and can't wait to get started.
We have a bunch of good kids that love to play the game, and they've come out since day one, actually day one of the summer, and they've worked as hard as they can work and done everything we've asked of them, and they're ready to go. It definitely makes our job easier.
The Atoka Wampus Cats welcome in a new head coach this season. Jacob Cupp takes over the program, becoming the 3rd head coach in 3 seasons. The Wampus Cats have one of the longer playoff droughts in the region, but they are hopeful Cupp is the one who can turn it around.
These kids are doing a great job. They're tough, and they're doing everything we ask them to do, and that's the biggest thing. And I mean, like I said, it's not easy out here on a hot fall day, you know, and they're out here working their butts off, and we don't take it easy on them either. So, so they're doing good.
The Kingston Redskins continue to draw more eyes in on them with the passing of each sports season. Now it's football's turn to see what they can do in a chase for a state championship. The Redskins back after an 8-3 campaign and with a new head coach who already believes this team is ready to win this fall.
I promise you they are a hard-working bunch. That's one thing that's pleased me about this group is they have not batted an eye, blinked an eye. They don't back away from any challenge that we've offered them.
The Lone Grove Longhorns are looking to rebound from a couple tough seasons, and they will be trying to do so with a new head coach. Former Wynnewood coach Brad Osteen has taken the job at Lone Grove after taking a few years off of football, and he has every intention of getting the Longhorns back on track.
If you're going to win, you got to believe you're going to win, and installing that belief in them of showing up and doing their best every day and doing what's right. The wins and losses will take care of themselves.
The Ringling Blue Devils also have a new sheriff in town. Philip Coons takes over a powerful program loaded with veteran talent, which is making his job just a little bit easier, and Coons hopes to hit the ground running or passing.
We're senior dominated. I think we've got maybe 10 to 15 seniors, and all of them have played, and so they've got great experience, and we have some talent. And as a first-year guy at a place, I really couldn't ask for a better situation.
In Garvin County, the Pauls Valley Panthers are hoping to build off a trip to the playoffs from a year ago. Matt Weber is elsewhere, and the Davis native Dusty Raber steps in to guide the Panthers. With a lot of talent and experience back, Panthers are expecting to play well into November. Again, that's a majority of the teams, but we have still not talked about. All these teams that'll have a new head coach next season.
Yeah, 11 schools getting new head coaches. That's a lot, even for our region where there's a lot of coaching turnover. We've heard from 9, so at least 2 left.
And that includes the Hugo Buffaloes and Wilson Eagles. Both have their sights on the playoffs. Who joins them on the list of teams ready to make a statement this fall? That and our top play of the season is on the way. Play number 3, Sulphur's Trevor Scott makes the catch over the middle. Has no quit in him. Scott, refusing to go down, drags a slew of defenders with him on the way to the end zone for the Bulldogs and takes home our play number 3. But who are number 1 and 2? Find out after the break.
Slide, back pedal, back pedal, back pedal, back pedal, change direction.
Welcome back. Now, Brendan, we get to enjoy the playoffs either way, no matter what. We're talking about football in late November, early December. But some of these teams, they want to be the ones we're talking about.
Exactly. Nobody wants to not make the playoffs, and we had 18 teams, a big chunk of our teams, go to the playoffs, but only 3 made it past the second round. Now, for me, I want our football season to last as long as it possibly can.
Jacket,
exactly. Right? So I want more this year, and here's some of the teams that are going to be trying to let me be cold deep into the season. The Durant Lions did not like the way 2017 went, and they're aiming to prove themselves this season with a strong senior class that includes a returning starting quarterback. The Lions believe they'll be much tougher competition to those they face this fall.
If you play well, you gain confidence. Now, if you just go out there and get blown out, then obviously you don't. But last year we played with Ardmore till halftime, but we gained a lot of confidence knowing that, hey, we can go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the state.
In Hugo, the Buffs are hoping to turn things around this fall, and their new head coach, David Barker, is no stranger to the region, having played his football at Plainview and Dixon. He brings with him a ton of energy and passion for the game, thinks this Hugo squad can be special.
They've had a lot of different head coaches over the years, and I think these guys are excellent. When I say that, when they've had some consistency, the same defensive philosophy, offensive, same scheme, same coaching mannerisms, once they have it 2 or 3 years, you're going to see that this is kind of one of those places people may not want to play after a while.
For the Wilson Eagles, last year they transitioned into 8-man football from 11-man, and now it's time to take the next step in that process, and they believe they're ready to do just that while giving the fans of Wilson football something to cheer about this fall.
I think we'll be pretty good with just, all over the place really, because we got a lot of talent, got a lot of people that have worked hard over the summer.
And these fans have been here since we were knee-high to grasshoppers, so we're excited to play in front of them, and we hope that they have big expectations for us, and we hope we can deliver.
Fellow Carter County resident Healton Bulldogs expecting to make a return trip to the playoffs, but to do so, they'll have to overcome the loss of a strong group of seniors from a season ago. Head coach Mark Baird is busy coaching them up so the Bulldogs can have another strong season this fall.
The kids are excited. They're really happy to get after it, enthusiastic, and that's what we want out of this bunch. They know what is going on, what's expected of them, and like I say, we're ready to get after the season.
The Antlers Bearcats have had a nice run of success as of late and are one of those teams expecting to be in the playoffs again in 2018. But Coach Spear hopes to be playing deeper into the postseason this year and believes he has the bunch to get it done.
Got a real good group of seniors. They've had a lot of success since they've been freshmen playing with high school. So just a good group of kids and, hard-working kids. It looks good. We're excited about being back out here and ready to get this year going.
Up in Caddo, the Bruins go into the season with a senior starting quarterback and plenty of weapons to put around him on offense. That, along with the bond this group of upperclassmen has formed over their time at Caddo, has head coach Jeremy Proctor ready to roll in 2018.
Some of our strengths are going to be some of our senior leadership. They are doing a real good job of kind of gelling everybody together. Some of those guys have been playing together for years, and got a few newcomers that are starting to play really well too. And I think that's going to be some of our strengths right there, that leadership that we've had.
The Thackerville Wildcats lost a lot of talent from the 2017 squad, but have a year under their belt with their head coach David Garza, and he believes that the few seniors they do have are the right ones to lead the younger Wildcats to a winning 2018.
Well, some of our strength is going to be those young ones coming up, accepting their roles, especially those young ninth graders. Got some talent there, but they're going to have to fill in some shoes, and they're going to have to respond.
We've seen it time and time again, how important football is to these communities and how serious of a game it can be. But these are still kids, and there's some characters underneath that helmet.
Yeah, football is important to everybody, but you know what's more important to me? Fun. If you know me at all, and Dan, we love to have fun, and one of the great parts of fall practices is getting to see what goofballs some of these players are. He's got some serious style. He's got the sleeveless hoodie and the hat. Tell us a little about Coach's practice garb here.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's no comment on that. He's crazy. It's always something new, crazy, definitely crazy, and just kind of old school, but trying to wear the new stuff and not working out.
Who's the worst dancer on the team?
Show what Sherbert Blood's like, because I got a bunch of family out here.
Worst, I got Asa Robertson. Yeah. I mean, he's pretty right on about that.
Now, I will admit, sometimes we bait the kids when we know we'll get a funny response, but other times those are just generic answers.
Yeah, I think last year I was a little bit worse on the tricking the kids than you were, and you really took the mantle this year of that with your historical references.
I did. I asked everyone, name the third president of the United States. Obviously, that is
Lincoln,
Adams. Jefferson.
right?
Jefferson, you were close.
All right.
But nobody got it right, but it was some funny answers. So we'll transition from the history of the United States to the history of 2017 Oklahoma football and look at the two best plays.
Our number 2 play of 2017 takes us to Davis. QB Briston Summers run the option, waits to the last possible second to pitch it, and it pays off. Blake Neal takes the pitch, goes into the end zone untouched for the Wolves for a huge score and our second best play of 2017.
And number 1, a no-doubter, Ada in the state semis, Jackson McFarland to Kylan Cooper to backup quarterback Ethan Clark, then the perfect ball to Lincoln Gibson. The razzle-dazzle paying off big time for the Cougs as they would advance to the state championship game. That is our number 1 play from 2017. And that will about do it for us tonight. Be sure to join Brendan and I every Friday night on KTEN at 10:17 for the 1st and 10 all high school football season long. We thank the Ada Cougars for their hospitality. For Brendan Agins, I am Dan Lindblad. We'll leave you with the sights and sounds from two-a-days.
It's game time. It's game time. I don't pretend. This game is mine. You wanna play? You wanna play? I play to win. So don't play around. It's game time. It's game time. I don't pretend. This game is mine. You wanna play? You wanna play? I play to win. So don't play around. Get up on my way, I'm moving. What I do is like a movement. This should be up in a movie. I don't know about no losing. I don't roll out with no